Hey everyone, my name is Tasha,
Hi, and I'm Latoria.
and we decided to come together to do a video on relationships, just kind of piggybacking off of what she did the other day. So we just wanted to give you guys some tips, some pointers onto how to have a successful relationship. And it's something that everybody really truly wants, but I don't think a lot of people know what it takes to be in a successful relationship. So we just decided to come together and help you guys out.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is pretty much give some tips and just some clarification on the difference between a good, healthy relationship and a not so good, unhealthy relationship. Just so you'll kind of know, what to point out and what to look for.
Exactly. Sounds good to me.
Hey.
All right, let's do this. All right, so the first point tip that we want to give you guys is it's really, really important to have unconditional love in the relationship. Each person has a story. Each person has a history and a way of thinking and responding to things. And say you're like 25 years old. You've had 25 years to think this way and to respond this way. To change that isn't going to happen overnight. So when you're coming together with someone else who has an entirely new set of ideals and feelings and interpretations, there's going to be some bumps in the road when you're trying to come together and make something work. So in order for that to have longevity, if that's what you're looking for, you want to have unconditional love, which means there's no conditions attached to it.
And so pretty much what I want to talk about is unconditional love. What is unconditional love? Unconditional love is loving a person past their flaws. It's not putting those stimulations and expectations on a relationship. It's, being realistic and knowing that, just because you are in a relationship with a person, that there's going to be some issues, there's going to be some problems, but it's not about that. It's pretty much about how you handle those problems and how you overcome them together. Another thing too, if you are in a relationship with someone, a lot of times when it's just love and it's not unconditional love, manipulators use love to get what they want. And another thing too is that love doesn't replenish. Sometimes toxic love, I should say, doesn't replenish. It just takes away and takes away. So it's very draining to your soul, very draining to your physical body, your mental health. It's just overall not good.
No, not at all. And to kind of piggyback on that, like she was saying, toxic love is very draining. It's very unhealthy, but you can also become addicted to that because it's a familiar ground, a familiar territory. So even though, yes, this person may be causing you physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, you're comfortable with that because you in a sense you're comfortable with that because it's familiar. Not to say it feels good, it's just something familiar. So then when you meet somebody new that gives you that unconditional love, you like, hold up, what's this? Right? Because it's brand new to you. You don't it's like uncharted territory and that's truly scary. So don't be afraid of that though, because walking into something new doesn't mean bad. It just is something new.
Which is another reason why a lot of people miss out on certain opportunities. They miss out on, having that good thing or having that good love is because they fear and they run away from something that they're not familiar with, something that they don't know how to cope with, that they don't know how to deal with. So they shy away from that. And in terms of that, they revert to what's familiar. And in that process, they end up with something that's seasonal, that's temporary, and it's not going to last long.
Basically, it can kill you. It can kill your soul. You can literally feel like a part of you is dying because a part of you is being suffocated, and that's not a fun feeling to be in. So yeah, cut them ties. With that toxic love, let that go.
Let it go. Let it burn.
Which actually kind of ties into our second point or tip is expectations. We tend to carry a lot of expectations with us going into something new. It can be coming from a toxic relationship. You can expect this new person to maybe behave the same way that your ex did. And now you got these expectations of basically failure to happen. and or you could have like really high expectations, thinking you want something really good to happen, but that can also be detrimental too, because then you fall off what's realistic. And you know, I'm sorry, ladies, but your man ain't finna chase you down the street in the rain with the roses. I'm sorry, that's only in the movies. Now, that's not to say every guy won't do that, because there are some guys that are genuinely just romantic like that, and they will do that. But don't expect that from every guy you encounter. And if he doesn't meet that expectation, oh, he's not a good guy. No, that's not true. He's just a real person with real feelings, who you may have also hurt his feelings too. You know, it goes both ways.
Now, there is a difference. There is a certain boundary that you have to set when it comes to that. Because if a person is being selfish, and they're, you know, being neglected to your feelings, they're not listening to you, they're not willing to compromise, you know, it's just all about them, and it's just all, you know, pretty much take, and they're not giving back, they're not replenishing, then that is a form, and that is a sign of, you know, an unhealthy relationship. So that's how you can kind of identify the two. You know, there's a difference from, you know, having those expectations as well, but at the same time, you do want somebody that's going to be able to fight in the ring with you and not leave you standing alone, you know. So
right, not
that's
fighting
something
against
to look.
you.
Yeah, that's something to look at.
Yep, absolutely. Which brings us into our third point, which is conflict. Conflict is normal and natural and a part of relationships. Now, there is a difference between good conflict and bad conflict. The important thing to know about conflict is that's how you grow in the relationship. That's how you learn each other, is through that conflict. You know, you have an issue with that person, it's because you didn't know something about them yet, and you're learning what that person's buttons are, what their limits are, and things like that. So that also ties into unconditional love, being able to love them through that moment of conflict, because it's testing, okay? It's a testing moment, but it's rewarding because you learn something new about each other and about yourself. And so conflict is normal, it's healthy, and it's okay to have conflict.
And it's not only that you're going through, but you're actually growing through, because you're getting to know each other. You're growing through those, you know, those stages and those phases, and you're able to learn each other more and to, you know how to be there for that person when there's a certain circumstance or situation that comes up. There is a difference too between an argument and a disagreement. An argument pretty much is, you know, that's all the negative, the confrontation, not listening. You know, sometimes it can get physical, you know, depending on who you're with. You know, you may just push the wrong button and this person is ready to go upside your head. That's why it's, you know, very important to, you know, follow those steps and to allow God to really be the center of your relationship when you are, you know, dating a person and you're thinking about marrying a person, whatever the case is. Make sure that you are seeking God and praying and making sure that that person is on the same level with you and that you guys are equally yoked, which I kind of talked about before. But so you just want to make sure that you know the difference between those two. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have, you know, things that, conflict that you guys don't agree upon, but it's a way to do it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Exactly. You never want to make sure that you're pushing that person's buttons, you know, you're calling them out their name, saying something that's extremely hurtful. You always want to make sure that you resolve the issue. You know, a thing that I try to do in my marriage is make sure that, is what I'm doing right now, is this going to bring us closer together or further apart?
Exactly.
That's a great thing that helps me be able to go and apologize or go and try and sort it out, even though I may not feel like it because I'm in my feelings. I'm like, no, I want you to come beg for me. That's right. But like realistically, like if I want my marriage to be successful, then I have to be selfless and love him unconditionally, to where I can say, okay, you know what, let's come together and work through this, sort through this, because maybe I'm not hearing you right. And sometimes the problem is genuinely me. Sometimes it's us ladies, sometimes it's not the guy.
Exactly.
Sometimes we're interpreting something wrong, we're perceiving it wrong, you know, we're taking it the wrong way, and then they get all in it, and you know how they can get just
that testosterone.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm a man.
Right.
Sit down.
Take a seat.
Right, take a seat. So, you know, it's very important to make sure that, you know, it's okay to disagree, but be like sensitive to what you're saying, and you know, what you're receiving as well.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, and then just to kind of tie into that, you do want to make sure that when you are having that conflict, that confrontation with that person, you want to know, what exactly caused it. What was the root cause of this? Is this even, important? Because a lot of times it's not. It's just a bunch of nonsense, and it's just something that, you both just probably at the time, at the spur of the moment, just probably really just flipped out on each other, and it's really not a reason to do that.
Right.
So, there is a way that you can kind of diffuse the situation when you think about it, like, okay, is this really worth it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is this
Right.
really something that we should be
Exactly.
spending our time on, talking about? We got bigger fish to fry than this.
Exactly.
So
Right.
that's a lot.
Right.
It's something that you can kind of use as far as going into, the conflict, the confrontation, the disagreements, and just laying everything out on the table, getting to know each other, and making sure that you're respectful throughout the process. Yeah, you may be heated, and it's the heat of a moment, and there's a big argument, but you still want to respect that person and know that that person also has, feelings too as well.
Right. That also kind of goes into what we were saying earlier about everybody having like their own story, their own background that they're coming from.
Yep.
Like she was saying, you could be perceiving it wrong, or like, whatever the case may be. So that also goes into the way you think, the way he thinks, and you're trying to come together. That's a bump right there, because you're trying to come together and make something work. Sometimes, you get your feelings, or he gets his feelings, and then it's a whole other situation. But yeah, that's a good point to make, is that make sure that what you're arguing about is actually worth it. Because if you're arguing over the burger, okay, or the socks on the floor,
who gonna get the pickles? I'm just saying.
Right, like
who ate all the pickles?
Right, like really, you ate all, and then there's a fight, like you got broken glass for some pickles. Like,
exactly, and it's not necessary, honey. The store is down the street. Like, just go get some more pickles.
You'll be all right.
You'll be all right. Yeah.
Bereaved. Stupid. But yeah, so one more point that I wanted to make. This is kind of like a sidebar.
Okay.
Unconditional love isn't just for that other person. You should also have that for yourself. Love yourself.
Yep.
Like, know that you are valuable, that you are lovable, that you deserve good things happening to you. It doesn't matter what you've done in your life. God has unconditional love for us. He loves us no matter what we do. Don't you think you owe it to yourself to love yourself?
Exactly.
If you love yourself, you know your worth. You're not gonna let some food come up in your life and like mess you up and trying to abuse you.
Bye.
Or same for the guys. Love yourself. Like, it's okay to love yourself, and expect good things to happen to you. You don't want some girl coming in here trying to abuse you either, because yes, men can fall subject to abuse as well. It may not be physical, but it can be mental or emotional. So make sure
definitely. Those are very I would say typical abuse when it comes to guys, like receiving it from a woman. So
yeah.
Because sometimes we can be manipulators too.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely. And it can get pretty detrimental for a guy emotionally to be in a toxic relationship with a woman who is abusing him mentally and emotionally. You might not think of it as abuse, but if this person doesn't listen to you, if she's not willing to work things out with you, if she's constantly accusing you of things, like those aren't good qualities. That's somebody that's tormenting you. They're not adding to your happiness.
And a lot of times when a person is accusing you of something, sometimes I would say there's a big chance that they're the ones that are committing that crime. So, or they have some issues within yourself, which goes back to the point, loving yourself. If a person doesn't love themselves and they haven't dealt with their self issues and their mess, then they can't give you anything. They don't have anything to give because they are drained themselves from previous things, and they haven't had time to heal from those things and really get themselves together. So that's why it's very important to make sure that before you enter into something, that you are mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually ready to receive what each other brings to the table.
Now, don't take that to the extreme in the sense of where you feel like you gotta be perfect.
Right, exactly.
There's no such thing as perfect.
There's no such thing as perfect.
Right. She's just saying, be more ready to meet. Don't be so eager.
Right,
Don't be so quick to just run into something, because when you truly are, love yourself, you feel, good about yourself, your soul is good, then you'll be able, you're not going to be perfect. There's always going to be something that we're going to have to work on through life. Child, we're going to be like 80 years old. We still learning something, but.
I'm still trying to learn that dance.
More emotionally.
messing with my health. I'm sorry, but yeah, you know that's all true.
So okay. Well, we hope that these tips helped you guys. This is part 1. So check us out for part 2 coming soon.
Coming soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.